Welcome back to the podcast called Tell the World. I hope your evening is going great, whether it's morning or evening. I'm wishing you all the blessings on this relaxing Sunday evening or morning. I was just thinking about, I was just down here, downtown LA, and every time I go down there on Figaro, I always seem to see all of this homeless, all of these people walking up and down the streets. A lot of them are normal people just going about, their little trips to the stores and gathering their items that they need for the week. But a lot of what I see is a lot of homeless. And I took a good look at some of that stuff. It's it's never easy looking at it. Sometimes I reflect on some stuff that I may be going through, and then when I see what somebody else is going through, I'm sorry. It always seems to be a comparison of yourself because somebody just got it worse than you. Now, is every problem a problem to us? Not all problems are problems. Some of these problems could be just rants in your life. Some of these problems could be just people that probably don't belong in your life. And a lot of these people probably don't belong in your life. So that becomes rants. And rants, I mean, is talking about the same stuff over and over and over and over. But it's not going nowhere. And it's not solving anything. It either makes you or breaks you. That's how I see it. It makes you or breaks you. Not every problem, sometime in your life, could be a problem. Sometimes the people that are new, that's freshly to, new life, new adventures, just new everything. Sometimes we're new to it. And sometimes we can develop where we just deal with it the wrong way and we've never been taught the right way on how to deal with a problem or to look at our problem to understand if it's really a problem. And remember, like I said, the problem could be just a rant in your life. And it may not be such a big problem. Sometimes we just see red first before we see light. And our emotions and our sensitivity and our feelings are totally different. And you got to remember in life with a problem, you can't please everybody. And sometimes you can't please yourself. Because sometimes you have to realize, are you satisfied with yourself? And if you find that you feel like you're not satisfied with anything that never goes right in your life and you rant about it, you bitch about it, then you need to analyze that problem. You need to set your problems aside. And you need to write down why you feel the way you feel. Some problems just don't need to be solved. Majority of our problems just need to be left alone. And when you pull back and leave it alone, give yourself time to leave it alone. Give your mind time enough to be clear about thinking before you say, before you do. And that kind of helps your life and makes your stresses and your anxieties be a little bit easier to deal with in life. Not every problem is a problem. But today I looked at, how other folks were dealing with their lives, and for example was the people that were living homeless on the street, Figaro, downtown LA. And I've watched these people. And it seems like they can go on with their lives and it don't even seem like they gotta complain anymore. Because eventually your life adapts away from what you're dealing with. And for some way, somehow your life becomes acceptance. Whether it's a problem anymore. You deal with it as a, you know what, I'm just living for today. And maybe you don't need a television. Maybe you don't need new clothes. Maybe you don't need a career. Or just maybe you may not need that love for that moment. Because you may need time to just deal with yourself. We're not always, we're not always ways prepared with dealing with ourselves. And so sometimes we go towards red and we become angry and emotional and we rant out at the world, out at people. We take it out on the wrong people. So you need to realize is your problem really a problem? Because how you think it will be how you live it. You manifest it right there before your face. And all those worst things that you're thinking about, they come true. They be your reality. I saw this guy sit down and he didn't have no shoes on. He just had a crate that he could sit on. It didn't seem like he was lost. It seemed like he was found. Because sometimes in life you gotta lose shit to see what kind of person you really are. Because you may not be grateful for what you have. A lot of us are not grateful. So we rant and we bitch about things. We're never accepting to what we have. Yet alone we're complaining about more that we want, more that we need. So those are some of the things that we need to look at ourselves about. Is your problem really a problem? Is it wrong to compare yourself towards another problem, towards somebody else's life? No, it's not. But sometimes you need in your life to measure up to what your expectations are. Because your expectations really measuring towards yourself versus what somebody else doesn't have? Sometimes you need to look at that. Because I can keep repeating. Not every problem is a problem. It may not be a problem. It may just be a rant in your life. Everybody's lives are different. How we deal with stuff. And we can always go for red in life. Be upset about things not going our way. Because not everything's gonna go your way. Sometimes in life, you got to lose a lot of stuff to find who you really are. And some people don't find who they really are. Because sometimes they just can't deal with what they have and who they are. So it becomes a rant in their life. It becomes a complaint every time. And not get nothing solved. But how you live it will be how you think of it. And that's how your life becomes. So sometimes we need to analyze how we're living. We need to analyze how we're treating people. Sometimes we need to find out, you know, what role that we play in anybody's life. Does your life fit the other person's life? Or do that person fit your life? You need to sit down and think about it. Pause on before getting angry and getting red. And see if your life measure up to other people that may not be healthy in your life. That may be toxic in your life. Where you're ranting. Where you're getting upset. Not every problem is a problem. Sometimes it's just the way you deal with it. If you deal with a problem that has no rules, no boundaries, then you're seeing that problem escalate into all kind of rage that you can't explain, that you won't understand. So just remember that we have to compare ourselves with each other. No, you don't, but sometimes you may have to just measure your problem and see if it's really a problem. We always go for red. We never go for the solution. We never go for the understanding. We just go for the worst. We think the worst. And sometimes we will behave the worst. But that's part of your growth and that's part of your understanding. You just have to just figure it out. But you don't have to let yourself get beside yourself when you don't. You have patience and you refuse to understand. And some things we don't understand becomes our worst way of not trying to understand. Some people got it worse than the way you made it. But we're all equal to having a problem in our lives. But we don't have to always go to the extreme. Sometimes we have to think about, is our problem really a problem? And sometimes you have to just have control, pull back, and measure the problem of your mind the way you're thinking about it. And see if it's at that peak of going to the extreme with yourself. You don't have to always go for worse. In this life, as you keep living, you learn to have control and you learn how to deal with the issues of life. That makes you the teacher. That makes you the person who's experienced. Some of us fall apart. So we can't become the teacher. We just become the experience, the example. So you have to think about, is it worth getting yourself upset about, get angry about, becoming a loose cannon? Somewhere in life, I was looking at this homeless out here, trying to understand it, like how these people have it worse, and how do they just deal with just living on the streets, living in tents, just living life basic, without no worry, just living. They didn't try to be upset, go postal at the world, get angry at the world, get angry at people for how their lives turn out. They learn how to just deal. And you develop a whole way of life in your environment. When you lose things, you just accept it. Now, can you get life better? Life is meant to get better. Life is meant to progress. Life is meant to explore. Not all life is meant to destroy. where you can't deal with things anymore. You see how this Virginia shooting had occurred? How that turned out? A person that couldn't deal. A person couldn't deal. They just couldn't deal. And so they snap on the wrong people and they become a loose cannon. So somewhere in life, you just have to deal. You have to accept. You don't stick to the problem. You just learn how to deal with the problem and pull back from it. You don't have to fall apart and you don't have to let it take you apart. You have to really just pull back from the problem. Get it out your mind. Get the extreme of the problem out your mind and pull back and give yourself time to think. Because every problem ain't meant to be a problem in your life. Some parts of life, we just got to just pull back and let the problem just solve itself and give yourself time to think. Let all the emotional calm down so you can give your mind a chance to analyze, to relax, where you're able to think before going to the extreme. Not every problem is a problem. That concludes Tell the World podcast.